Hey, what's up and how's it going, all MRBers? I am Mike McRock for the Make Rock and Bolt Wrestling Review Show, and right now I'm about to give you my review as well as the results of this week's episode of WWE Monday Night Raw. Is this thing on? Hello? 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 On this episode of Monday Night Raw, the show kicked off when Stephanie McMahon came out and she cut a decent promo how she talked about what happened last week when Triple H was just dominating all over Daniel Bryan. And then she went on to talk about Triple H putting him over, Triple H this, Triple H that. And then you have Randy Orton coming out and talking about the triple threat match and how he's saying that he's going to make Triple H walk away from the match and stuff like that. And then you have Batista come out and he cuts a promo and basically he's saying that he don't care if Triple H is going to be in the match or if Daniel Bryan's going to be in the match. And he goes on to talk about Stephanie McMahon and how Orton was too close to her because he's going to drool on her. And then he says, I'm sure that Stephanie has been drooled on a lot. And then he gets slapped in the face by Stephanie McMahon and it takes off his sunglasses. And you see Randy Orton laughing and then he gets speared by Batista. And to me, this segment, the opener of this episode of Raw, really felt awkward. I'm not sure if I should interpret this as a segment if it was so bad it was so good, or if it was so bad it was so good, because to me the way the show opened up really didn't feel any interest into building up the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. There was like no sense of direction where this first segment was going, so it kind of felt weird and awkward. But in the same time, you can also make the argument how the acting was so bad, it almost made for good television because it was just so awkward. So either way, I'm okay with it. I'm on the fence with it, but I'm okay with it. The next match on the card, well, the first match, it was actually Dolph Ziggler versus Alberto Del Rio, Christian, and Sheamus in a fatal four-way match to determine the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. And this was one of those matches where it was okay at first, but it got a little better as the match progressed, and Dolph Ziggler was really over with the fans. That big moment where he nailed the top rope face buster was a good moment in that match. But the one issue I had, if I were to criticize the wrestling in this match, is the moment where Alberto Del Rio went for the other guy instead of breaking up the pin. To me, that moment alone made me feel like that Del Rio did not want to win this match, and in the end he didn't. What happened was that Christian won. I was hoping for Dolph Ziggler to win this because how over he was going with the fans, and then splat. Christian wins it, and the way the audience reacted in Brooklyn really fell flat when he won. It was like there was no reaction at all. You were hearing crickets, so this was just an okay match. And the other issue I have with this is that I would rather see this match to be the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship to face at WrestleMania instead of thrown in on a show that no one really cares about, like the main event. So really, to me, what needs to happen is for Big E Langston to come out of the Battle Royal and have him defend the title, because even though they already have a pay-per-view called Night of Champions where every title is on the line, to me, WrestleMania is a show where every single title should be on the line, no matter what title it is, because it is the biggest show of the year, and having the Intercontinental Champion in the Battle Royal and not defending it, I'm not very sold on that. Moving on, we get to see Damien Sandow go one-on-one with Sin Cara, and coming out with Sin Cara was Scooby-Doo, and oh my god, how many levels of bad of this match can I even think about? The audience wasn't reacting at all. This was the ultimate burial of Damien Sandow. The lighting again with the whole blue and purple coming down on the ring. Sin Cara, at least Sin Cara was putting in the effort. I can't go any further beyond how bad the booking this match was, because it was so watered down, it was so PG, it was just so full of crap. Oh, painful. Absolutely painful. I'm just going to move on because I'm killing myself thinking about this match. Moving on, we saw Los Matadores taking on Ryback and Curtis Axel, and this match was all about the Shield gaining revenge based off what happened on SmackDown when you had Kane come out and you had the big the 4-on-2, 4-on-3 or 6-on-3, whatever it was, attack on the Shield with all the tag teams involved like 3B, Ryback and the Real Americans, which I will get to later on. So I like what they're doing with the story of revenge, the Shield getting revenge on the people that attacked them on SmackDown. So I like that. But overall, this was executed okay. And like I said, Los Matadores winning really was an afterthought to the whole revenge storyline of the Shield gaining their revenge. Moving on, we saw Michael Cole with a sit-down interview with Triple H. And normally, I would say about this segment is that they should just leave these type of things on YouTube for the viewers to watch. But I think overall, this actually accomplished something, in my opinion. What happened was that Triple H was talking about how people are going to get what they deserve, and he went on to talk about the big takeover from Occupy Raw, and pretty much harping on the audience as well, talking about the reality of everything and how the people are not going to accomplish what they're going to accomplish in their life. And he goes on to say that I'm going to make the reality era. And he went on to say that no one is going to stop Triple H, and having the power to do anything he wants, and he will walk out the WWE World Heavyweight Champion after he beats Daniel Bryan. And to me, this promo from Triple H actually made me believe that he's going to be in the World Heavyweight Championship WWE title match after he beats Daniel Bryan, even though the likelihood of it happening is very slim. Still, I think Triple H accomplished something here with this promo, making it believable as possible. So I thought the promo work from Stephanie McMahon and the Authority, like Triple H, were some of the interesting things that happened on this Raw. But overall, like I said, this was just one of those Raws where I'm like, oh my god, there were a lot of bad things on this show. And moving on was another thing that I thought, to me, that never felt like it was nothing special, and it was the match between Cody Rhodes versus Fandango, coming off of last week, the big botch at the end. So I guess the idea of going into this match is to not have Goldust face Fandango again, to play it safe. But overall, there was nothing special coming out of this. The only thing to me that was remotely interesting about this match was the moments before Fandango got pinned, where you saw Goldust and Summer Rae trying to outdo one another with the dancing. But other than that, I was just bored out of my mind with this match. And then we got to see Hulk Hogan come out and cut a promo talking about WrestleMania 1 with Mr. T main eventing it, mentioning him being in the Hall of Fame. And goes on to talk about the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and introduces the guest host of Monday Night Raw, Joe. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. And Arnold Schwarzenegger promoting the new movie coming out. And basically what happens throughout this entire thing between Hogan and Joe and Arnold Schwarzenegger is that they pretty much put everyone over. It was like a big overfest. Arnold Schwarzenegger putting Hulk Hogan over, Joe putting Arnold over, everyone was putting everyone over. It was a big overfest, and I'm like, oh good God, why is this happening on the show? And then you had The Miz coming out and talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger and Joe wanting to be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and said that you two are actors, you're not badasses, I'm a badass. And I'm like, Miz is a badass? Since when? And basically what happens is that The Miz gets tossed out the ring by Hulk Hogan. And you had all three guys get their shot in on The Miz. And overall, I thought this segment on this show was just bad as well. To me, the WWE is not making up their minds on what they want to do with The Miz. 1 week is a heel, 1 week is a face, 1 week is a heel, another week is a face. And I'm like, oh my God, just make up your mind. Just do one thing and go with it. And instead they have The Miz come out and do that. Holy bad. And I thought that was bad. The whole idea of Hulk Hogan and Arnold and Joe putting all three guys over, and it was just like, it never really, to me, it never really done anything for me. There was, again, it was one of those things that just never done anything for me. It was nothing special and stuff like that. It was just way too predictable and all these other things. So, overall, judging by what I'm saying on this review of Raw, this is a bad show. But some things actually done pretty well that came out of it, and I'll get to the John Cena and Luke Harper match in just a bit. We had a match with Big Show versus Titus O'Neil, and I'm not going to go anything further than that. Big Show winning, squashing Titus O'Neil, and this is another example of the WWE not living up to a heel turn. And they do this time after time after time after time with The Miz, with Brodus Clay, with everyone they've turned heel for the past I don't know how long. And they just give Titus O'Neil this match with the Big Show, and you have Big Show squashing him. Ridiculous booking crap. And moving on, we saw John Cena versus Luke Harper. And to me, this was one of the great things, very few great things on this show. And this was set up very well. There were Let's Go Harper chants throughout this entire match, and you had Boo John Cena, Let's Go Cena sucks chants. So the crowd was pretty much into this match. And what I liked about it was that Luke Harper was just dominating Cena throughout this match. But to me, Luke Harper could hang with John Cena. And to me, I cannot praise Luke Harper even more, because when John Cena would gain the upper hand, Luke Harper would just come back and counter and then just dominate Cena again. And this was going back and forth a bit up until the lights go out and things happening. You can hear things happening in the ring between all these guys, and then when the lights come back on, you saw John Cena with the sheet mask on, tied to the ropes, and you had all three Wyatt family members around John Cena, and you had Bray Wyatt laughing And to me, the little things matter. That was a nice touch, putting John Cena in the sheet mask. And like I said, this was one of those very few good things that happened on the show. It was well done, well thought up, and to me, this is the only match that the WWE made me believe while watching the show that I'm looking forward to watching this match at WrestleMania. Moving on, we get to see AJ Lee go one-on-one with Naomi, and I'll just mention this before I get to the meat and greedy of it, is that Naomi can really wear that eye patch and make it look good. So I'm not going to go any further than that, and what happened was that this wasn't really much of a match. This was basically AJ Lee screaming out of the ring and says that I don't need this and leaves. Vicky Guerrero comes out and calls AJ Lee a bitch and stuff like that, and then Vicky goes on to talk about there's going to be a Divas Invitational match. I'm not sure what the rules are on that, but what's going to be is that all the Divas will be involved in this championship match at WrestleMania with AJ Lee. And I'm like, oh, you might as well just have a new championship. I mean, a new champion, because AJ Lee has been the champion for a lot of days with no substance, and you just have her lose every single time on Raw. It's very fizzled out, and you might as well just have a new champion at WrestleMania. There you go. And the other issue I have is that, to me, the WWE is unsure what to do with their Divas division at this point, because there's no... It's like they can't find a credible one-person diva to face the Divas champion. And I really don't understand that, because you have divas like Natalya and Naomi, and Brie Bella has been improving over the past couple of months, and I really don't know why they would just have all these divas, and some of them, to me, don't seem to shouldn't be in this Rumble match or invitational, whatever you want to call it, and and to have them lose, it's just like, gosh, I'm just at a loss for words as to the Divas division as a whole on Raw. So I'm not really looking forward to this match at all. And you know how I always say that a title match should not be on the pre-show; it should be on Raw. You might as well just stick this match on the pre-show, because I just have no hope with the Divas division, to be quite honest. I just don't. And I'm going to move on now to talk about, to me, one of the greatest things about this show. The next Hall of Famer in the WWE class this year is Razor Ramon. And growing up as a kid watching Razor Ramon, to me, this was one of the best gimmicks of any gimmick that I've grew up and watched. I love the whole sleazy, cool guy with the toothpick and flinging it out of his mouth to the camera and stuff like that. And this is a great move on the part of WWE right now. I'm sure that Scott Hall has sobered up and is looking great right now. I hope that's the case for him. And if that is the case, I mean, there is a reason why he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. And I think the Hall of Fame class is 7 for 7. To me, this is the class to beat years to come after this one. I mean, guy after guy after girl after guy after guy is like just absolutely incredible how amazing this Hall of Fame class is. And putting Razor Ramon, putting Scott Hall as Razor Ramon in this is, to me, one of the greatest things you can do for the Hall of Fame. Moving on, we get to see a tag team match between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose versus the Real Americans. And how this match was set up, it was set up backstage by Kane, Um, well, not necessarily by Kane, but by Triple H. It was actually Triple H that made the match for tonight's show for the Shield to get revenge on the Real Americans after what they've done with Ryback and Curtis Axel. And I'm assuming that probably on SmackDown that they're going to take out 3MB as well. So that's something I'm just going to throw out and predict before I get into this match. And I really enjoyed this match. To me, this was the match of the night on the show. And I love how they were taking the fight out to the ring before the bell rang. And that whole part where Cesaro was swinging around Dean Ambrose and the fans were just going with it. And the double swing on Ambrose to the apron outside the ring was great. And then you had Seth Rollins was the highlight of that match as well. Just flying all over the place, landing on Cesaro, landing on Swagger, getting the fans pumped up. They're the heel turn face group right now, and it's working. I think they could do something with this until it fizzles out with the fans. And even though to me this looks like WWE is giving them the scraps and having Kane and the New Age Outlaws to face at WrestleMania, you can also make the argument to say, well, okay, we're already having a triple threat match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, so to have another triple threat match would be just a little bit one too many triple threat matches at WrestleMania. So I can understand why they're not putting Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns to face each other at WrestleMania. But in the same time, I think they missed a good opportunity to bring up the Ascension to take on the Shield, to team up with Kane. That would have been great as well. And even though this feels like the WWE is giving the Shield the scraps and not putting them in with better talent in the ring, you can also make the argument in the same time that this will probably end up being a good match at WrestleMania. So that's the one thing I do hope for going into the pay-per-view event in just a couple of weeks away. And we get to the final segment on the show. It was Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. And Paul Heyman cut a promo. He talks about others not measuring up to the Undertaker's streak. Guys like John Cena, The Rock, and Stone Cold, even Brock Lesnar himself. And Brock Lesnar cuts him off and says that he's not here to promote. He's here to fight. And his voice cracks when he said, "Let's do this." Awkward much. And out comes the casket with all the guys carrying it out. And you have Lesnar going over to it. He stomps on it. The mind games are going on here. He opens the casket. There's no one in it, of course. Lesnar gets more agitated. And then Taker shows up from the casket. He opens it up. And then they go at it. They start, going at it. And Brock Lesnar not getting any offense. And then Taker throws him out. He's the one standing tall in the ring. And to me, I've seen this kind of stuff before where you have the guy just being used like crap. And it's amazing how the WWE is making this match very one-sided. And even though this was one of those segments where they just kept it very safe, I'm not sold on this match. I did at one point when you had the whole contract signing. That was good. But to me, the way this show ended fell very flat. It was lackluster and very predictable as well. And I'm just not looking forward to this match at all between Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker, because the predictability factor is just there. I mean, you have Brock Lesnar have no offensive move, and you have Undertaker pretty much go over in this final segment of the show. And I'm supposed to believe that Lesnar is going to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania? Oh man. That was just one of the most bad booking decisions on the part of WWE, the way they closed it off. It wasn't very great. It was very one-sided. And it was just one of those things where I just threw my arms up in the air and say, I'm done with this match. I'm just not looking forward to this match at all. The only match that I'm looking forward to that this Raw made me believe to look forward to was the John Cena and Bray Wyatt match. And overall, this show was just okay. It wasn't really one of the greatest Raws leading up to WrestleMania. Last week's show, to me, was the best Raw since after coming out the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view that made me believe that I'm looking forward to WrestleMania. It actually made me say that out loud. And after watching this episode of Monday Night Raw, to me, I never had that, oh my god, I'm looking forward to Raw moment. To me, I'll go back and repeat myself. To me, this made me say that I'm not looking forward to WrestleMania. It wasn't one of those shows that made me go, oh my god, I'm looking forward to WrestleMania now. No, it didn't. It was not all that great. It was just okay. And overall, if I would give this a rating, probably a 5.5 or a 6 or a 6.5, but nothing beyond that. And if you saw this episode of Raw, what did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. While you're at it, you can hit that subscribe button down below this video. You can follow MRB Wrestling on Twitter, and you can like us on Facebook at the Mick Rockabalt Wrestling Review Show. And on a final note to all you viewers watching, get plenty of rest and always do your best.